as you were saying that, I thought of when I would have that kind of feeling in the past, that's when I would start to jog. And I would jog in the house. I'd jog if I was in the bathroom when it happened, I probably would just start jogging in the bathroom and say, I got to go for a run, but I didn't do that, and I have been intentionally, and I love to get outside and walk, but I intentionally didn't do that. And I thought, okay, what is going on here? And I was able to feel that whoosh, which at one time I would have thought something's definitely wrong, because why would I have such an uneasy feeling? And I would have felt worse if I'm running from it and letting myself feel that anxiety. And I had the part of the whoosh was that I didn't even know what was causing it. I didn't, but as I let it play out, or as it played out, and I didn't run from it or jog or anything, I realized that guilt feelings came up, and I saw how bad I felt that that we weren't getting together, but as a result of it, I learned something about myself. And I also began to realize that I think I really tried to work with that. And I realized I think I'm coming to a point where, if this makes sense, I'm recognizing some of my beliefs, my own belief system that might bring on that feeling like I'm always doing something wrong, or if I'm not careful, something bad will happen. And so as a result, if I would avoid, and then it would just make my anxiety worse, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. So are you able to catch those? It sounds like you're catching those beliefs too when you're starting to get anxious. And so you're able to chant, like when you felt anxious about potentially not spending enough time with your grandkids, you were able to challenge the idea that you're always doing something wrong and like stay with the feeling until you figured out what a more flexible option was?
Yes, exactly. And realize too that that actually that's a lie, because in the midst of COVID, I'm doing the best that I can to have quality time and still follow the guidelines. And I'm realizing that I'm somebody that doesn't do well with uncertainty, and it may always be a bit of a trigger for me, but that I can relate to it differently, and I can be easier with myself. But having that moment where I somehow connected what was happening internally to, this is an opportunity to get curious. I had that realization that a lot of it is focuses around my belief system, that I didn't even recognize that part. And I remember when you first talked about coming to be familiar with those core beliefs that might be negative, and but have a lot to do with why I'm anxious now. I couldn't pinpoint anything. So I thought that was a really good thing, that kind of just welled up inside of me. And so I've been just in my own self-talk with just myself, trying to say, nope, I don't have to be afraid anymore. I have the tools, or whatever comes up at the moment.
Yeah, I'm so happy to hear that. I think it's a great explanation of like the second step after you're understanding what your triggers are, you're practicing preparing for the anxious moment, and you're practicing showing up to the anxious moment and being willing to experience what you experience. Then as you get curious about that experience, you can start to see what kind of beliefs maintain the anxiety and make it more likely. And then you can see what you can do to challenge it. And then eventually, because you change your beliefs, challenge their beliefs, and have more flexible options, you stop doing the things that create, maintain, and intensify the anxiety in the first place. And then you don't even have the anxiety anymore.
That would be nice.
Yeah, it is nice. So I'm happy to hear where you are in the process. I'm aware of our time, so we have to go for now. But thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thank you, Maggie.